Today we're going to talk about equations, and the first thing we need to discuss are the parts of the equation, which would be reactants, products, and the yield sign. So let's look at some equations. Okay, if you notice the first equation, everything on the left of the arrow is called your reactants because this is what's reacting. Everything on the right side of the arrow, these are called your products because this is what is produced. You are producing a new substance, so that is your product. The arrow is your yield sign. So when your reactants react, they yield a new product. Okay, now that you know the parts of an equation, the reactants and the products, now it's time to figure out if the equation is balanced or not. So the first thing you'll do is determine the elements that are on the reactant side. Now the elements on the product side should be the same. They may not be in the same order, but they should be the same. And I put them in the same order because it helps me to see if the equation is balanced or not. So let me show you what that looks like. So on the reactant side, I've determined that I have barium, sulfur, platinum, and fluorine. Well, I know that I should have the same elements on the product side. So I'm going to put them in the same order, even though they may not be in the same order, because it just helps me to balance easier. Okay, on the barium side, I have 1 barium, sulfur, I have 1 sulfur, platinum, I have 3, fluorine, I have 3 times 2, which is 6. On the product side, I have 2 barium, I have 4 fluorine, 1 platinum, and 1 sulfur. Is my equation balanced? And the answer is no. Question 1, why does the equation have to be balanced? Well, it's because of the law of conservation of mass. The law of conservation of mass states that the amount of mass you start with you should end with. Now I understand you're ending with a new product, but the mass should be the same. Question 2, how many elements are on the reactant side? I count 1, 2, 3, 4 elements on the reactant side. How many atoms of sulfur are on the reactant side? Well, according to this, I have 1 atom of sulfur. How many atoms of fluorine are on the product side? According to this, I have 4 atoms of fluorine on the product side. Question 5, how many total atoms are on the reactant side versus the product side? Total atoms. Be careful. So I would add up all of my atoms. 6 plus 3 is 9, 10, and 11. On my product side, I have 2 plus 4 is 6, 7, 8. So on my reactant side, I have 11. And on my product side, I have 8. How many protons of barium sulfate are there? This gets tricky and you have to use your periodic table. So first, I need to figure out how many protons there are in barium. And I see that there are 56 protons in barium. Then I have to find sulfur, And I see that there are 16 protons in sulfur. So I would simply add the 2, and I have 72 protons in barium sulfate. I hope this activity helps you and breaks it down for you. If you need more help, make sure that you ask your teacher and come to tutorials. Thank you.